platform, everyone. My name is Chisom Agwawike. I am an actor. I'm sure if you watch Halita or the Rishantis, you'll be familiar with the face. And compliments of the season to everyone here. And I'm hoping that we are all spending quality and amazing time with our family, friends, and loved ones. So because I've wasted a lot of time, I'll just go straight to introducing this meeting. So today we'll be talking about discussing 7 ways to winning with people in 2022. And it will be anchored by the boss himself, the visionary, the great leader, the innovator, my boss, the CEO of Lifestyle Asset Hub, Dr. Abioye. Okay. And I'd say this, the first time I had, an encounter with Dr. Abioye, it has been quite phenomenal. And the first thing he taught me was human relationship with people, building solid and impactful and valuable relationships. And I can remember hearing your network is your net worth. And for some people, it's going to sound like one of those cliche motivational quotes, but it's not, because I know in the career that I have found myself in, how much relationships with people has skyrocketed my position in the industry. So with great relationships, you cement yourself strategically, you build visibility, there are career opportunities, so many things that we have to learn. So I hope we have our jotters and our pen. I'm ready to pay apt attention and not just only jot things down, but to implement them for the coming year. So 2022 promises to be an amazing year. And I'm sure Dr. Abioye would, give us great lessons that would learn to being great people and advancing our careers in the coming year. So I'm going to open the floor to Dr. Abioye now, so he can take over and teach us these great lessons that we're about to hear. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Chisom, and it feels good to have you on this call today. And I just want to use this opportunity to thank every one of us that have been able to join this call today. And I'm super delighted. And I must thank you for creating time to be part of this, okay? Sorry, I would like us to be muted, and third admin, your voices are echoing back at us. Okay, please kindly mute yourself. All right, so it's Christmas, it's year end. I hope we're all super excited. I'm super excited because this is the best time to be alive, and today we'll be talking about how we can generate great, massive value in 2022. Certain concepts I've been able to come across because of my journey. And I'll be sharing with us today a very unique one. One I discovered about 10 years ago that practically changed my life. Okay, and I know a lot of people are joining us from different walks of life today. We actually had some little issues with the Zoom technology. Apparently, the last episode we had last month, we had over 100 registrants. Okay, and the Zoom automatically stored those 100 registrants as against this edition. So we couldn't admit other new friends to join us via Zoom. But the good thing is that we are also live on my personal Facebook page. So we had to reroute them to the Facebook page, and that also explained some of the delays we had at the beginning of this presentation or this training. Now this is, if I'm correct, this should be our 4th edition. Okay, this should be our 4th edition of the Project 40 Knowledge Job series that is specially designed to build a new set of Africans, a new set of African entrepreneurs, a new set of African workplace professionals, where we build a community of people that are highly skilled, a community of people that are highly knowledgeable, and a community of people that will change the story of Africa for good, okay? And I must so really thank those of us that have been so consistent since the beginning of this Project 40 Knowledge Hub series. that will be concluding this very season on the 26th of July 2022, where we'll be announcing our top 40 young, most improved African workplace professionals and African entrepreneurs. So today I'll be talking to us about 7 ways, okay? 7 ways to winning with people. I'll be talking to us today about 7 ways to winning with people. And guess what? I will be talking to you, I'll be sharing at least 15 different principles, okay? 15 different principles that you can adopt, implement, and change your revenue in 2022. Now, let me ask you a quick question. What are your personal goals for 2022? Okay, have you been able to state clearly how much exactly you want to make in 2022? All right. Now, no matter how robust, or fantastic your goals for 2022 could be, trust me, you end up struggling with those goals if you lack the principle for managing people, if you lack the principle of managing relationships, and of course, if you cannot win with people. I believe so strongly that at the end of today's series, okay, at the end of today's series, you will all be very, very excited. And I believe strongly that every one of us on this call today, either through the Facebook platform or the Zoom platform, will end up becoming magnets, okay? We end up becoming magnets that attract the best of the best, okay? You've got to be a magnet for you to be successful, okay? People that are very successful are people that have been able to attract a lot of people in their lives. So where are you watching us from today, okay? Where are you watching us from? Are you watching or listening to us from Abuja, Nigeria, Lagos, Port Harcourt, Douala in Cameroon, Yaoundé, Nairobi, in Kenya, or are you watching us from Accra or Kumasi? All right, so let's quickly, on the chat column, please kindly just introduce yourself and where you're watching us from today. And while we are doing that, I'm going to quickly share my screen, okay? I'm going to quickly share my screen with us so that we can have full benefit from today's training, which I believe so strongly very, very, very super useful, all right? So, and like Chisom said at the beginning of today's session, she advised us to ensure that we have our pen and paper, okay? It's very important, especially if you're at home, okay? Especially if you're at home, you are not in a noisy area, you are in a place, a comfort zone that you can, you take note along, okay? Because I believe strongly that you're going to find today's session very, very useful, very, very, very impactful, all right? So please, Sam, if you can hear me clearly, anytime I lose my audio or my visual, please kindly alert me so that I can know that I've lost my audio or visual. And the good thing also is that we have this edition recorded, and we're going to share the recorded version with every one of us that are able to join us live today. And of course, that those of you that will be watching the replay. All right, I'm super excited, like I said to you earlier, this is indeed the best time to be alive. So thank you so much for those of us giving us those, joining us. I can see some people from Ogun State, Port Harcourt, Chilaka, Chisom from Distinguished from Abuja, Sunday Aderigbe from the UK, and Tola Titilayo from Abuja. Then we have Emmanuel from Ogun State. All right. Wow. We have Vicky from Cameroon. Thank you, Vicky, for joining us today. Adedigba from Ibadan. We have Fula watching from Douala. Yeah. Beautiful city there in Cameroon. Then, of course, we have John from Lagos. Welcome, John. Welcome, John. Then, of course, I just want to thank you all. Thank you all for joining. Now, quickly, because of time, I just want to go straight to the content, okay? I just want to plead with you, okay? I know you have so much you are doing right now. You are probably trying to chat along on WhatsApp as you're on this call today. I just want to plead with you, you pay close attention. Okay, I want to plead with you, you pay close attention and you take as many notes as you can. Okay, you take as many notes as you can, all right? And why is this important? It's very important because I'm going to talk to us about practical principles, and I'm going to end this conversation, which I'll be targeting at young people trying to start their businesses, and they think they need millions of dollars to start. Today, I will conclude today's section by showing you how you can start your business from where you are currently. And 2022 will be one of your most productive year ever. And these are concepts I've been able to implement myself. So quickly, let's go into the 7 ways, all right? 7 ways to winning with people. 7 ways to winning with people. All right, thank you so very much once again for joining us today. All right, very good. So, of course, most of you know me already. My name is Abioye. I'm a business coach. I'm a life coach. I'm a lifestyle coach. I'm an alternative real estate solution inventor. I'm an author. And of course, I'm a futurist. All right. I always think about the future of everything. All right. Then, of course, number 1. Okay. Number 1 way to win with people in 2022 is develop a great character and worldview. Are we together? For you to win with people in 2022, you've got to develop a great character and worldview. Everything, okay, everything rises and falls on your character. You attract people through your character, okay, and people run far away from you because of your character. So, and see, let me say this also. I'm not seated in front of you this evening or this morning or this night, depending on where you're watching us from, and say to you, Abioye is just a perfect guy that understands the principles of winning with people. It's not true. I'm a work in progress myself. So what that simply means that I'm also speaking to myself. And I must thank you all for the opportunity for me to learn also today. All right. So I would like us to do an assessment of our characters, because it's very, very important that we build a very solid character. And talking about character, I would like to talk to you about 3 principles. Okay, 3 principles you need to consider. Number 1 is the lens principle. Okay, are we together? Number 1 is the lens principle. What does the lens principle talk about? Okay, now the lens principle simply talk about, now the day I discovered the lens principle, my life practically changed. Okay, so what the lens principle is simply saying is that who you are determines how you see others. Are we together? Who you are determines how you see others. If you are a trusting person, you believe people around you are trustworthy also. Okay? If you are very negative, you believe everyone around you is also very negative. So please, there's a phrase under this lens principle I want you to go home with tonight. Who you are determines how you see others, okay? And I'll be saying a lot of things this evening, and I want to encourage you to please take me up, ask questions on the chat column, then I will come back and take all those questions, especially how it relates to you applying some of these principles. Okay, then of course, the second principle here is the mirror principle, okay? Which the mirror principle is just saying that you've got to examine yourself before others, okay? So what is your perception about life like, okay? You must see value in yourself before you can add value to others. So what that simply means is that if you don't believe in yourself, okay, you can never attract and win with people. So don't forget the mirror principle. Then the pain principle, it's also very important, okay? And under the pain principle, you should never allow a painful past to affect your present and your future. For example, let's say you've suffered an heartbreak. Okay, that is a very painful past. Then you simply say, oh, all women are the same, or you say, oh, all men are the same. That is a very dangerous generalization that could deprive you of that right person. Okay, you are an entrepreneur, you have people that worked for you in the past that practically duped you, and you say, oh, all employees are the same. That is, you are allowing the pain of the past to color your current judgment, which could affect your future. Okay, so always remember the pain principle. Now, like E.H. Couse simply says that history leads the wise and drags the fool. Okay, let your past be a shining light into your present and your future. Okay, those experiences that have caused you pain, that makes you feel everybody is bad, are specially designed to make you more robust, to make you more dynamic, and of course, for you to be a better person. There are no good or bad experience. What we have are all what? Learning experiences. Okay, don't forget that. So number two, okay, number two way of winning with people in 2022 is have a great self-awareness. Okay, who are you? Like Aristotle rightly said, an unexamined life is not worth living. Okay, an unexamined life is not worth living. Okay, and one of the smartest way you can deploy to assessing yourself is by conducting what I call a self-SWOT analysis. Okay, you've got to do what I call a self-SWOT analysis, where you ask yourself 4 strategic questions. Number 1, what are my strengths? Okay, people are attracted to you because of your what? Of your strengths. Number 2, what are my weaknesses? People run away from you because of your perceived weaknesses. Okay, then of course, you just have to read books and improve on them. Okay, and mitigate those weaknesses. Okay, then of course, what are the opportunities around me? Okay, then of course, you ask yourself the fourth question, which is, what are the threats? Okay, now if I ask you a question now, is that if I ask you a question and say, oh, Emmanuel, Chisom, Adedigba, what is your major threat? Okay, what do you consider as your number 1 threat that will prevent you from achieving success in 2022? I know some people will say, oh, the government policy, okay, oh, economic instability. But ladies and gentlemen, your number 1 threat in 2022 is you. You are your number 1 threat. It takes you to take action. It takes you to believe in yourself. And it takes you to consider these 3 key principles I want to share with you under this point. There's what is called the AMA principle. Now, the AMA principle is very interesting because it talks about you never overreacting. Okay, never what? Overreact. There is a great philosopher, okay, and statesman that once said that if the only tool you use is a hammer, you tend to see every problem as a nail. Okay, and John Maxwell says that never use a hammer to swat a fly off somebody's head. If you want to win with people, you've got to stop overreacting. Are we together? You've got to stop what? Overreacting. Then, of course, the elevator principle. Don't forget this. The elevator principle. It simply talks about we lifting others up. Okay? Are we together? We have to do what? Lift people around us up by encouraging them. Be their great motivator. Okay? Be their what? Great motivator. Then, of course, the big picture principle. Okay? The big picture principle talks about you being goal-oriented. Okay, you know why? Goal achieved brings growth. Okay, a goal achieved brings growth. So what that simply means is that the goal is more important than the role. If you are working within a team, focus on the goal, the general goal for that team, and not the role you are given or you're tied to. Okay? So if you understand the big picture, if you have the big picture principle, okay, in your consciousness, you'll be able to attract a lot of people that see you as a very selfless person that always focus on the big picture and of course the goal, okay, and the goal. All right. Now, number three way to winning with people in 2022 is evaluate your arguments. Evaluate your argument. Through unnecessary argument, you will lose businesses in 2022. If you don't evaluate your business, if you don't evaluate your argument, you will lose very strategic relationships in 2022. But if you master the art of evaluating your argument, trust me, you will be able to attract more people in the process. All right. Now, under this point, let me talk to you about three principles. So what I've simply done is that for each of those 7 points, okay, I'll be talking about 3 principles to drive them home. And I hope strongly that we are all taking notes along. All right. Now, I would like to talk about the confrontation principle. Are we together? I would like to talk about the confrontation principle. Okay, and this is very, very important, and I need you all to please take note of this, the confrontation principle. Now, what is the confrontation principle all about? All right, now confrontation principle is that you've got to avoid, okay, avoid conflict situation. Are we together? Avoid conflict situation. All right, and I would like to talk to you about 10 commandments of confrontation. Are we together? Okay, of all the principles, I'll be spending more time on the confrontation principle because we all face confrontations almost on a daily basis, okay, especially in the workplace. I've been in the workplace environment for at least 15 years right now, and I've seen all sorts of confrontations. Okay, I've seen people miss promotions because they are always very confrontational in the office. I've seen people lose businesses, entrepreneurs, because they are so confrontational. Okay, and today I would like to talk to you about 10 commandments of confrontation. And please kindly take note of this. Number 1 is that thou shalt confront others in private. Okay, thou shalt confront others in private. When your colleague at work or your partner, maybe he does something you don't like or say something you don't like, if you must confront them in what? In private and not in public. For example, you have a colleague say, oh, Abdul, I need to have a talk with you and it's very important. Can we do that almost right away? Then you guys can lock yourself in the boardroom and trash out the issue, but make sure it is done privately. Never confront people that you care about publicly, okay? Don't forget this. Never confront the people you care about publicly. Then number 2 law, okay, number 2, under the 10 commandments, okay, the second commandment is thou shalt confront as soon as possible and not look for a better time. All right? Thou shalt confront as soon as possible and don't even look for a better time. The earlier, the better. And of course, the third commandment is thou shalt stick to the issue at hand. Thou shalt stick to the issue at hand. Don't bring out past errors by that person, past mistake of that person. Just focus on the now, the issue, and trash it out. Okay? Then commandment number 4, okay, is thou shalt make that point and not repeat it. Make your point very clear. Just once. You don't need to repeat it. All right? The number 5 commandment here is that thou shalt deal only with action that can be changed. Okay? There are certain errors that cannot be changed. So don't dwell on it. Okay? You've made your point, but only, okay, deal only on some of those issues that can still be fixed. Okay, then the 6th commandment, when it comes to confrontation principle, is thou shalt avoid sarcasm. Okay, thou shalt avoid sarcasm, especially if it's a WhatsApp chat, because sometimes you can have those confrontational conversations by WhatsApp. Okay, it's also very private. All right. Then, of course, avoid all form of sarcasm, be as clear as possible. Then the 7th commandment here is that thou shalt avoid words like always, never. Okay, always, when you are having this conversation, avoid these 2 words, always and never, simply because they are rarely accurate. Okay, on a very light note, when I was in the university, a friend of mine, and his girlfriend, they were having a very bitter confrontation. They were very, very angry. And, the lady was so angry. He said, have you ever bought me a recharge card? Okay. You've never bought me a recharge card. I said, but I bought you once, some time ago. And I was just listening to that, I started laughing at them. Okay. So never use the word always, like saying that is how you always talk. Okay. You never attend to things like this. Okay. So don't always try not to use those 2 words when you're having this conversation with the person you truly care about. Okay. Then, of course, number 8 commandment here is that thou shalt ask question and offer suggestion. Number 9 commandment, thou shalt not apologize for your confrontation. It is your right to have those conversations. Because we will not say because you want to win with people, then you will not be assertive. You've got to be assertive, okay? That makes you human. But in you being human, you've got to be very strategic, especially if that relationship is very important to you. Then the 10th command here is that thou shalt remember to highlight the person's positive contribution, okay? Even when you've confronted the person, you've said what the person did wrong, you must conclude that conversation by at least thinking, by at least think about one thing that person has done in the past that has been very, very good and beneficial to the team. Okay. Then the exchange principle. Okay, the exchange principle simply talks about putting yourself in the shoes of others, empathizing. If you want to win with people, okay, if you want to win with people, you've got to learn to empathize a lot. And never aspire to win any argument. Okay, never aspire to win any argument. Always drive towards what? Understanding and not winning. Then, of course, the learning principle. Okay, the learning principle simply talks about you having the capacity to always learn from others. And I will talk more about that during this point, which is the 4th way to winning with people. Okay, the 4th way to winning with people in 2022, and I need you to please pay attention to this. Stop all forms of elitist attitude. Are we together? Stop all forms of elitist attitude. All right. Most people are so elitist in their behavior. Most people are so elitist in their character. Okay, most people are so elitist in the way they approach people. People with elitist attitude believe that they can only learn from a set of people. They believe that there are certain people they can never learn from. Please let that not be you. All right? Very good. So I was going to talk to you about certain key principle, which is the number 10 principle. What's the number 10 principle talking about? Now, the number 10 principle is simply saying that it's very important that you value people, okay, more than they themselves can ever imagine, okay? With number 10 principle, you will be able to ensure, all right, that you are able to carry people along and put a 10 on them. You know, there is a principle saying that when you put a 10 on people, that simply means that you place a great value on them. Then the bedrock principle, which talks about trust. Okay, trust is a bedrock of any relationship. Okay, and for people to trust you, you've got to ensure, okay, you've got to ensure that you build a very solid relationship with them that ends the trust, okay? All right, it's very important that we don't forget this. Then of course, the charisma principle simply talks about your ability to build yourself to the point that people just want to be around you almost on a daily basis, okay? Then of course, number 5 ways to winning with people in 2022 is be service-oriented. Let me ask you a quick question. How many people do you intend to serve in 2022? The more people you're able to serve in 2022, the higher your chances of making a great success out of it. Okay? Okay, don't let like a temporary situation or a setback jeopardize an entire relationship. Are we together? Do not let a temporary setback to jeopardize an entire relationship. Okay? And it's very important that a lot of people, they allow little setback that are situational to, because of that, they simply jettison the relationship they have with people because of situational issues that are even temporary in nature, okay? Then the Bob principle. If everybody said Bob is bad, then Bob has got to consider and look at himself. So what that simply means is that if everybody keeps complaining about you, okay, about your attitude, about your character, just ensure that you do just take a step back. Okay, take a step back and evaluate yourself and ask yourself, what am I doing wrongly or badly, okay? Then of course, approachability principle simply talks about you being warm and welcoming, okay? People will do or say more with those they like than the people that they do not like, okay? You've got to be very approachable in 2022 for you to achieve greatness, okay? Then of course, the partnership principle, okay? For example, 2 people can accomplish more than 1 person, okay? And a team can even do more. For you to be very successful in 2022, it's very important that you build a team of like minds, okay? That you guys can partner together towards a common goal. Like I spoke earlier, a goal achieved simply makes growth inevitable, okay? A goal achieved simply makes growth inevitable, okay? And of course, be generous with your knowledge, okay? This is a very strategic way of you winning with people in 2022, okay? You've got to be very, 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 very generous with your knowledge. Do not suffer from scarcity mentality, okay? Do not suffer from what? Scarcity mentality. If one of the smartest ways you can influence people is by being a great teacher. So I want to encourage you, every good thing you know in 2022, teach everything, all right? Every good thing you know in 2022, teach everything you know, all right? By the time people learn from you, they love you more, they like you more, and you're able to influence them, okay? For every book you are reading, ensure you are reading that book as if you are going to deliver a training on that book the next day. That will force you to take vital notes. That will force you to transform your note into a PowerPoint slide, like I've done, okay? And you never know, people could even pay you to share the knowledge on that slide in the future, all right? So it's very important that you are very generous with your knowledge, okay? Then 3 principles or 4 under this point I would like to talk to you about. Number 1 is the Fox-O principle, okay, which talks about difficult times can put stress on any relationship. Okay, difficult times can put stress on any relationship. Once you understand this Fox-O principle, you know that in any time that you are facing any difficult time with people within your team, just know that potentially that relationship is at risk, and you need to do a whole lot of things to mitigate any form of challenges that could arise. Then the gardening principle. Okay, the gardening principle, I find this principle very impactful too, which talks about relationships have a life of their own, okay? Relationships have got lives of their own, and it takes you to cultivate those relationships and renew them on a yearly, monthly, weekly, daily basis. Okay, never take any existing relationship for granted. Know that this relationship I have right now with this person is a life, and every life must be protected. Every life must be nurtured. Okay, every life must be cultivated. All right, so it's very important that you take those relationships you have right now very, very, very importantly. Then the 101% principle simply talks about you looking for a common ground in any relationship. When you meet somebody for the first time, you spend 1 month, 2 months of knowing the person. Look for what people share in common, okay? And emphasize on that common ground in the course of your relationship with them. At the end of the day, you will likely achieve over 100% results from the process, all right? And of course, let me finalize this conversation with you today by talking about understanding that people are your capital, which is the 7th way of winning with people in 2022. Most people throw away relationships because of money, okay, when it's supposed to be the other way around. Okay, most people throw away relationships because of money. Most people put money first before any relationship. That is a very wrong approach. You can never win with people if the first thing you think about is money and not cultivating that relationship. Because it's that relationship that will eventually produce money. You know why? Because people like to buy from people they know. Okay, people like to buy from people they trust. Okay, people like to buy from people that are knowledgeable. And for you to prove you are knowledgeable, you must have shared knowledge in time past. I spoke about that earlier. Okay, for you to prove you are trustworthy, you must have proven yourself in time past. With that, people will be able to buy from you. Now, there's something strategic I would like to share with you when it comes to people and capital. But before I do that, that will be my concluding moment today. Before I look at the chat bar and take all questions, is the 4 key principles I think we should consider right here. Number 1 is the patience principle. Okay, the patience principle. And this is very important. You know why? People who travel in groups, okay, move very slowly, okay, than people that travel alone. But guess what? You cannot navigate your journey in life alone. Okay, you've got to move with people. That simply means that you've got to be very, very, very patient, because this is the fact of life. Okay, for you to win with people, you've got to be very, very patient, okay, and of course, learn how to manage, okay, the relationship, okay. Then the celebration principle simply talks about you celebrating others. Then I would like to wrap up by talking about the high road principle. This is one of the principles I live my life by on a daily basis. The high road principle. People that know me very closely, they know that I don't joke. Okay, I don't joke with the concept of the high road principle. Okay, now there are different ways you can treat people. Okay, either you apply the middle road principle. Okay, the middle road is when that means that you treat people the way you want to be treated. Okay, you treat people the way you want to be treated. That is a middle road principle. The low road principle is even worse. Okay, it's even worse, whereby you treat people the way you don't want to be treated. Most people treat people the way they don't want to be treated. And that's why people keep running away from them. And they are not making sales. They are not making sales. And they are struggling with meeting targets. But the third way is the high road principle. Okay, the high road way, whereby you treat people better than the way they treat yourself. Okay, you treat people better the way they treated you. Sorry, that's what I was going to say. You treat people better than the way they treated you. That is the high road principle. This can be easy said than done, but I want to encourage you to apply this. I apply this every day of my life. I work towards treating people better than the way they've treated me. Because sometimes I also need to apply one of the principles that talks about empathy. Sometimes when people treat me badly, the first thing I say to myself that they are just being human. Probably it could even be my own fault also. All right. So I have the opportunity, I ensure that I treat them better than the way they treated me. Now, let me share a very real life experience with you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, as an entrepreneur, we make a lot of decisions, either good, bad, or wrong. Okay, I remember clearly a few years ago, I had a business that went bad. Okay, I took a facility from certain group of guys to invest in a business, and I will use this real life experience of mine. I'm not sure if I've ever shared this publicly ever before, and I'll be sharing for the first time publicly. Okay, I took a facility from these guys to fund a business I was so passionate about. But guess what? Business went bad. Sometimes good people do bad business and it affects their integrity. The business went bad and I couldn't pay the loan as at when due. Okay, and the loan kept accumulating. It kept accumulating. I will reduce the money to go up. I'll reduce the money will go up. I was really having a tough time. This was me, I think, if I'm correct, I think about 6-7 years ago, if I'm correct. Okay, I was so challenged. All right. I called one of my senior friend, a magistrate, and I said to her, look at these guys I collected money from. I need you. Can see now, I'm applying people now. I know a magistrate, okay, that I have a good relationship with. I ran to her and I said, magistrate, man, I have this challenge with these guys. I would like you to please arbitrate between me and them. And what I want you to help me achieve is let them even stop the interest, the daily interest. Let them fix it. Okay, let us agree on a fixed price. Then I can now start paying them till I finish paying. Okay, one of my greatest prayer for you in 2022 is that may you never drift into debt. Okay, may you never drift in. It can be a very painful experience. Now, my magistrate friend arbitrated and they accepted that the interest will be stopped. And guess what? The money that I had to pay them, the leftover was like ×4 of the original money I borrowed from them. And when I say money, I mean in millions, okay? In millions, okay? Now, I started paying. Then I ran into another challenge. I defaulted in a month and they attempted to retrieve my car, which I did not allow them. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? They went to court, okay? They went to court, they took me to court, and I ran to my magistrate friend. I said, magistrate, guess what? These guys took me to court. And she said, no, Abioye, don't worry, let it be. Let them take you to court, it's fine, all right? Now, guess what, everyone? Guess what, everyone? After back and forth with the court case, the magistrate that handled the case looked at the merit of the case and ruled in my favor. Okay, and ruled in my favor. You know what that simply means? That means I was legally free from these guys. And that gave me some period to breathe. But guess what? I was not comfortable. I said to God, God, I need you to prosper me because I need to pay this guy back what they are looking for that made them to take me to court. Okay, I was able to do some consulting work for some guys and they paid me some good money. Guess what? I called these same guys that took me to court. I called them for a meeting. And ladies and gentlemen, I paid them off 100%, even when the court had ruled in my favor. You know what I did there? I applied the high road principle. Till today, they are still begging to do business with me. I said, no, I can't do business. We are friends. It's okay, we can talk, but we are not doing business. The door of business is closed, at least for now. Okay, but at least I shocked them by treating them better than the way they treated me. All right. Now, talking about this 7th point, talking about people are your capital. Now, I know some of you listening to me today, you have businesses you are running. You want to expand your business, especially those of you that want to start a new business. I want to encourage you. Avoid all forms of debt funding. In business, okay, in startup, there are 2 types of funding you can deploy. Either you do debt funding or you do equity funding. Now, debt funding is when you borrow money, like I did, to start up a new business. Okay, that is debt funding. It is very dangerous for you to adopt that. It is okay if you are in business and you want to expand and you have a clear experience of what to do. It's fine. But as a new startup, I want to encourage you to apply the equity funding principle. Equity funding principle simply means that you are willing to share ownership of your company with people that have the money to help you get started. See, poor people like to own 100% of zero. Are we together? Poor people aspire to own 100% of zero. 100% of zero, ladies and gentlemen, is a deeper poverty because it's still zero. Okay? So it's important because don't worry, other ideas will still come, other businesses will still come, you will set up. But this one, instead of you going to borrow money, look for people that believe in your vision, that are willing to take risks and invest in you. Let me give you a practical example. Like in Nigeria, I know in Cameroon, in Ghana, in Kenya, in different parts of Africa, the same principle applies. When you register a private company, that's why I want to encourage you, if you have a good idea, let your idea be alive on paper, have a business plan. Once you have a business plan, try to do your incorporation. Okay, do your incorporation. Now, let's say, for example, you've incorporated your company. That means you are a legal entity, but you need money to get what you need to get to be in business. Let's assume that what you are looking for is $1 million. For example, you are looking for $1 million. So what you need to now think is that you need to do what they call private placement. You could say, you know what, I'm going to sell 20% or 30% of my company to anybody that will give me $1 million. And it might be difficult for you to get one person that will give you $1 million. Then you can divide $1 million, for example, into 5, okay, into 5 slots. That means $1 million divided by 5. That will give you $200,000 each. Then you can now say, you know what? Anyone that gives me $200,000 will own 5% of my company for life. Okay. Then you look into your contact. That is why I say people are your capital. So the question is that how well have you been able to attract people that can at least do a $200,000 business with you, for example? I'm just throwing around figures. You might not need up to that. So I'm just using $1 million and $200,000 as an example. So what that simply means is that at this stage, you need to start building your social capital. What is social capital? People you know. Okay, the more people you know, the better your life will be. When I say the more useful people. Okay, it's very important because you are the average of every 5 persons you spend bulk of your time with. If you spend bulk of your time with 5 poor people, you will end up becoming the sixth poor person. But if you spend bulk of your time with 5 rich guys, both in mindset and in cash, inevitably you end up becoming the 6th rich person. So it's very important that you adopt the principle of equity funding when you are starting a new business. And for you to succeed with an equity funding arrangement, you've got to know people. Okay, and it's a process. Now, let me wrap up by also talking to you how I was able to build my own social capital. 10 years ago, or slightly over 10 years ago, when I realized that I needed good people around my circle, because I was like in the midst of fellow broke guys. We're all broke, okay? You know what I simply did? Okay, I looked into my circle and I realized that I could barely see someone that is very successful. And it was very difficult for me to attract successful people. You know what I simply did? I went through the route of knowledge. I started building myself. You know, I started by saying self-assessment, one of the principles to winning with people in 2022. Okay, I assessed myself and I discovered that I was full of ignorance. Okay, so I started reading books. I started building myself. And guess what? I started translating the knowledge I acquired from the books into a PowerPoint slide. And guess what? I started meeting people that have businesses and said to them, you know what? As part of my company's give back, we would like to give a 1-hour free training on sales. Free. Okay, you don't have to pay. And of course, everybody likes free things. Before you know it, I started penetrating certain circles by doing free trainings. By the time I do it very well, I attract the business owner, I attract the staff. Then it was BlackBerry pin then. Then the number of my quality BlackBerry pins started increasing. And before you know it, I started having a lot of CEOs as friends. I did what? I served my way to attracting the right people. So for you to attract the right people in 2022, it is very important. You must be ready to serve your way to attracting these people. So at this point, I'm going to stop. Sharing my slide. All right. Thank you so very much for those of you that have stayed this long with us on the Zoom platform, and of course, those watching us live on Facebook. So at this point, let me quickly see if there are specific questions from all I have said, okay? Let me see if there are specific questions. I know I was knocked out at some point, so I might not see some of those questions. Okay, so distinguish if you are there, if you have some of those questions, you could just put them back, okay? And you could even, as a matter of fact, distinguish, you could unmute yourself to help me read out those questions I might have lost, okay, in the course of when I was knocked off because of network. All right, thank you so much, Rabbi. She's saying, I honestly cannot recall the last time I attended a very, okay, thank you so very much. Thank you, Abioye. Thank you, Rabbi, for being part of this session today. And she said further that you'll never know people could pay to share the notes on your slide. Of course, people will be more than delighted to pay you, okay? Okay, all right. Thank you so very much, Fula. Thank you, Distinguished. So I'm sure I can't really see much of those questions because I was knocked off at some point, okay? So at this point, what I could even do is that you could even raise your hand. If you raise your hand, you want to ask me those direct questions, I will give you the opportunity to just speak and ask the questions directly, okay? So I thank you so much. Thank you so much, Olugbenga. It's a privilege to be, for us all to be in the same circle, all right? It's a privilege. So if you don't have questions, I have about 5 more minutes for this month's edition of the Project 14 Knowledge Hub. If you don't have any question, just kindly share on the column, okay, just share on the column, on the chat column, what you've learned, what has impacted you the most today, okay? What has impacted you the most today? Please kindly drop it on the chat column, either through the Facebook platform or, of course, through the Zoom platform, all right? Now, while you are doing that, let me quickly announcement for those that have not been able to benefit from what we call the idea vote. Okay, the idea vote is a unique platform we've set up, okay, whereby you can easily send your ideas. Some of us have done that already, and we're already talking to some, will be matchmaking us in the course of first quarter of next year. What ideas do you have that you are looking for funding for? It's an opportunity for you to drop it on the idea vote system we've created. Okay, and of course, please distinguish, if you can listen to me clearly, please help me to drop the WhatsApp link for those of us that are not on the WhatsApp group yet. If you wish to, please join the WhatsApp group. Then a document will be dropped on how you can benefit from the idea vote. And then, of course, the same applies to the growth matrix system we've created. All right. So it's a very unique system we've created, and I believe strongly you will find very, very, very useful. Thank you, Chilaka from Port Harcourt. Lovely presentation. This will surely add more value to us. So thank you. Mimi, thank you for joining today. Thank you so very much. This could have been, there couldn't have been a better time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ahmed, good. I'm glad you could join again this time. The last principle of doing good no matter what. Okay, very good. That is the high road principle. Absolutely. Then, of course, my key takeaway, according to, I think, Distinguished, my key takeaway is the high road principle. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I must encourage every one of you to please look for a book by John C. Maxwell, Winning with People. Virtually all the principles, I learned them from that book, Winning with People by John C. Maxwell. Look for the full book, okay, the hard copy if you can, all right? And read that book. It's very powerful. You will get more insight. And of course, Dave, Umba, truly appreciate you guys for the opportunity. We'll apply all I have learned. Fantastic. Please apply and let us build a very successful community together. Then I have a very good news for every one of you today. January edition is going to take place on the 26th of January. Okay, please make it a date, 26th of January. That is when we'll be having our January edition. And guess who our speaker, our lead guest trainer will be at the January edition is Mr. Niyi Adesonya. Okay, Mr. Niyi Adesonya is going to be our guest in January's edition of the Project 40 Knowledge Hub. You might be wondering, who is Niyi Adesonya? Okay, I encourage you to follow him. Okay, just follow him on Instagram. I'm dropping his Instagram handle right now. Okay, and Adesonya, voila, good. All right, that is Mr. Niyi Adesonya's Instagram handle. Please follow him, check him up on Instagram so that you can see the quality of the person he is. And of course, and you get ready to learn so much from Mr. Niyi, okay? Thank you, my big auntie, Kenny Okore said, Abioye, I'm proud of you. Value for this presentation cannot be quantified. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you, Chisom, for dropping the WhatsApp group. So if you wish to join the Project 40 WhatsApp group so that you can be getting real-time notification, please freely join, okay? Then 2 more announcements before we end the call today. I will encourage you to please check out the Project 40 documentary on YouTube. If you've not watched it from the beginning to the end before, it's very impactful. I shared on edited real life story of myself. Okay, on that 20 minutes documentary, I pour out myself in 20 minutes, okay, without holding back. I spoke about my challenges, how I ran into troubles, and how I was able to get to where I am today, okay? And of course, I will not say to you, I have succeeded. No, I have not succeeded yet. I am only succeeding. I am work in progress, okay? And I encourage you to please go on YouTube and search for Project 40 by Abioye, okay? Watch it and share with your friends. Watch it and share with your friends, okay? Then, of course, if you are not following me yet on Instagram, this is my handle at the Abioye, okay? All right. Okay, follow me on Instagram, then I will follow you back immediately. Okay, let us see what I want to be seeing what you are posting. Okay, I want to see what you are posting on Instagram, and of course, so that you can also see what I post also. So follow me on Instagram. My handle is the Abioye, okay, and I will follow you right back. And let's keep reinforcing ourselves. I want to encourage you to get ready for a great year ahead of us in 2022. Okay, for me, 2022 is a year of speed. Okay, what is it for you? Okay, for me, it's a year of speed. For the organization I'm privileged to preside over, is a year of speed for every one of us. In your business, if you are a network marketing professional on this call today, for example, also join me. Declare 2022 as your year of speed. Okay, build great teams. Okay, take ownership of that business. Don't rely on your upline. Your upline has done you the biggest favor ever by showing you that business you are doing right now. Focus on the business. You'll be so shocked that you could end up making more money than your upline. Okay, if you are an entrepreneur, okay, take full ownership of that business. All right, move with speed. Serve your client with speed. For example, in my own businesses, I had certain challenges this year, okay? But guess what? With speed, we are going to overcome and run over any form of challenges that will come our way in 2022, all right? So because the universe loves speed, okay? The universe loves speed. All right, thank you so much, Chere, for dropping the PDF of the slide. I believe the PDF of the slide I just shared with us today. And of course, to join the WhatsApp group, okay, that is the WhatsApp group link. Okay, and of course, I know some of us don't like WhatsApp group. And I must say to you, this group is muted. Nobody makes any comments. Okay, we only use it to share real-time information with everybody within the community, all right? Within the community. And I know some people on the Facebook platform, they are asking for the WhatsApp link to, please, Abdul, if you can hear me, Sam, if you can hear me clearly, please kindly drop the WhatsApp link also on the Facebook platform. So thank you so very much. And for those of you that have questions for me, okay, just send me a DM. I'll be more than delighted to throw more light on everything I've shared with you today. I'm so delighted that we could get to the end of this conversation today, despite of all the teaching challenge of network and so on. But I'm so glad that we could make it here today. And of course, for those of you that want to take advantage of the idea vote, growth matrix, okay, and so on, please join the WhatsApp group, and voila, you will be able to be part of it, okay? Thank you so very much. I've learned so much by sharing this with you today. Thank you, Salas from Ghana. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad you could make it too. Wisdom lies, it takes a wise man to identify another wise man. So you are also a man full of wisdom too, all right? So please, let's keep reinforcing ourselves. Let's keep building a community. And our aspiration is that by July next year, when this season, okay, by when this very season of Project 14 Knowledge Up has been rounded off and we drift into the second season, we'll be able to say these are the 40 top-rated next African entrepreneurs and workplace professionals. And that could be you, okay? That could be you. Because our last edition on this season is going to be a physical event on the 26th of July. Okay, you never know, it might be in Douala, Cameroon, it could be in Yaoundé, Cameroon, it could be in Lagos, Nigeria, it could be in Abuja, it could be in Accra, it could be in Kigali, Rwanda, but we'll determine what part of Africa we are going to have that very physical event where we will all meet ourselves physically. Then, of course, by then, I believe strongly we will have built bigger capacity to reinforcing ourselves, growing our businesses, and of course, changing the lives of people around us. My final word to you is that your life, okay, is God's gift to you. And what you do with your life is your gift to God. Give God a gift by treating people around you better, and you see the ripple effect on you. On your business in 2022, you will see how your career will grow in 2022 because you've learned those principles, you've reflected over those principles, and people could see a very unique part of you. For me, I think the best of those principles is the high road principle. Treat people better than the way they treated you. You know why? Because an eye for an eye will lead the whole world blind. If we all do eye for an eye, all of us will be blind, okay? We just have to forgive and treat people better than the way they've treated us. You could forget everything, but please don't forget the high road principle. And of course, you will see how the high road principle will transform your career and businesses in 2022. Thank you so very much. I'm super delighted. I feel so humbled that you are giving me this opportunity to sharing this. Myself and Mr. Nia Adesonya will be back in January. And of course, it promises to be a great one. Thank you so very much, everyone. John, I can see you on the chat column. Thank you, John. I thank you so much. All right. So see you on the 26th of January 2022, a new year. And let's start the year with a bang. And I want to encourage you, please don't join the next edition alone. Try and join with your friends. It's your own way of influencing them. Because by the time they learn something profound, they will say, wow, it was Fosa that invited me. Oh, it was Tola that invited me. It was Dave that invited me. It was Progress that invited me. Thank you so very much. I wish you a very happy new year. Trust me, you can still hear this. You can still end this year strong. And my desire for you is to end 2021 strong and start 2022 with a great speed. Thank you and bye-bye for now. God bless you all.